Hi, and welcome to Cockatude. Cockatoos with attitude. And here's one with attitude. He's doing okay, aren't you, buddy?
How's our Cecil? Is he okay?
Well, he's on the medication now, and he seems to have more appetite in the morning. But he just got it yesterday, so
Hmm. Well, he's got his toy, so that's good.
Dr. Jenkins, though, is basically doing these every 3 days, these injections. So I've got to talk to Jenkins because Dalhousen's his guidance is once a week, and I think Jenkins and Dahlhausen's are good friends, so I should get a good answer from him. Might even answer an email. I don't know. He did it one time when I simply sent him a link to Dahlhausen's video. He just wrote me back and says, "Yeah, we've been good friends for a long time." So,
Well, you never know. As long as Mercury is not in retrograde.
yeah, what you doing there, Cecil? Cecil bird, you're back to beating me up again. That's a good sign. What are you saying up there, Jazz? You can't come down here right now. The last time you did that, it wasn't fun. What are you doing with that thing? Making it difficult for me to position the camera, aren't you? So with us today, let me switch the camera since I can actually do that now. Uh, we have KK. So wondering about, that's right. Well, that's the other one. We have Jasmine up there. The Jazz Bird. And Lucy over by the window. And Snowball. Change the camera again. What are you doing? You're whacking me in the head there. Hey, not on the earpieces, little boy, because it's really annoying. Yes, it is. It's really annoying. I'm glad to see you all fired up, though. Just don't start breathing weird again, okay? Hmm.
So let's greet some chatters. The first intruder, I'm just joking. The first one in the chat was Natalie and James. So hello and welcome. Then we
Hello.
have Falcon Zoo and Rosebud and Colin Thurston who are here. So hello and welcome to you all and all the others who just view or view later because they have to do something now. And we got already a super sticker from Natalie and James. So thank you very much for that. And I think that means it's time for a certain thank you bit. Shall I play it, Don?
Go for it.
Okie dokie.
Yes, thank you very much. Can you say
Yes.
thank you? No, she can say hi, but she can't say thank you.
Hi.
Well, she might be able to say it, but yeah, I've only gotten hi out of her in all these years, so Jasmine probably could say it. She's got a huge vocabulary that she uses only once in a while just to scare me. Because she doesn't sound there's doesn't sound like she's imitating anything. She sounds like a just a person talking. That first time she said, "Hi, how are you?" I'm like, "Where did that come from?" Cecil, if you do that to my ear again, I'm going to tickle you. Okay? You want to get tickled? Do you want to get tickled? Hmm? Yeah, these options on here are funny because they have, for cameras, they have the front camera, the back camera, then back triple camera, back dual wide, back, none of those work. Basically, we have the telephoto, the back camera, and the front camera, and a bunch of descriptions for things that don't work. Isn't that life? Must have been coded by Google. Huh? What do you think? Huh? What do you think? Now, he seems to be doing okay. I think just one day, so it's, you don't know, but
Yeah, Rosebud was just asking how is Cecil.
you look fine today, don't you, boy? And he ate early instead of hiding from the food like he's been doing the last week or so. So the problem with AGN is that, and I'm, 99% sure that's what it is. The vet wanted to do gram stains, or the vet tech was, and I'm like, why? You know, um, aspergillosis does not cause organ enlargement. So if you have organ enlargement, it's usually going to be the AGN almost every time. So you have blindness, or if a bird has trouble, it stumbles around and it looks like it's looking at its feet, trying to figure where they are. There's anything that's neurological. So would you watch it? Which is why they have to get injections, because in his case especially, he wouldn't be able to digest Celebrex. Not yet. Not until this is the flare up is contained. Right, boy? But he's all full of sass today,
He looks
aren't you?
cheerful.
Yes. Yeah, his breathing's a little off, though. You can see the way it's. When you can see him breathing in the throat, you know something's going on. Yeah, he's still breathing down below, so he's got to. Obviously, he's going to have a ways to go. It's only been a day, but. Hmm? Only been a day. Yeah.
Well, Cecil's always been the one that's most sensitive to heat and stuff. So do you think that was due to the AGN all along?
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty darn sure that's what it has to be. His sensitivity was because the nerves were already being disturbed. But it wasn't like they were telling me he was horribly enlarged, but they said there was some enlargement. I'd like to see the X-rays myself, but I'll probably be forced to go down there and get on my knees and beg. You know how that usually goes. But Jenkins just forwarded that stuff to me right off the bat. Here you go, because he knew I wanted it. But you're doing, big boy. And I've changed the sequence of things now. The Lorelei and Mander get out with some of the other birds, and then I bring these guys out. I'm gonna, as we're gonna be moving into the fall soon, so that's gonna mean we're gonna be going outside when it's cool before it gets hot, and then eventually it'll not get so hot, right? Mm-hmm. Cecil? You nut. You nut.
So
So
let's
I'm
welcome
gonna.
Lisa Banerjee, who is in chat.
Hi,
and happy
Lisa.
to see her boy Cecil. Cecil is certainly also happy too to have Lisa in chat.
We love
Lisa
to have
belongs to
Lisa.
Cecil fan club.
Yep, she's the president of the Cecil fan club.
Cecil is, as you can see, he's still kind of stopping. He's not all there yet, but he's coming back. I'm pretty sure that he's got AGN. Like I say, I'm about 99% sure. I don't know what else it could be. Certainly, it's not aspergillosis or something like that. It's a totally different etiology. So his symptoms are what they would just put him on a back when they had what they called PDD. They would have just put him on that protocol, which is basically here we're going to give you these till you die. But it's not like that anymore. So when
In
does
the
Cecil?
chat, I can read from Lisa and Rose, but they say Lisa says if the vet not just can email you the X-rays, and Rosebud says my vets are trained. When they see my kids, I get copy of all reports and review X-rays.
Yeah, that's what they're supposed to do. But my vet is actually at a seminar right now, so it's just the text there. And on top of that, they're doing a remodel. So, I mean, it's a little confused. At least I got a phone call with some of the results, but that's not quite the same as getting the actual results themselves. So, but all I needed was the description of enlarged organs to know, and I could pretty much see that because when he started breathing and his chest just got really tight, his ribs were sticking out. It was really obvious that something was going on. Either an air sac was overloaded, or he had his organs are getting so big that when they get stressed, they're pushing against that chest cavity. So, um,
Poor little guy.
but he's not showing any terrible signs, which means that it should all be reversible. But we'll see, won't we, Cecil?
Well, we hope you're not in pain, Cecil.
I had someone, Regina was saying to keep him calm. It's like, yeah. So are we talking about the same bird?
It's like, have
Keep
you met Cecil? That guy is not come.
she knows Cecil well, but she's met him, but keeping him calm, that's not possible. You put him in his cage if he wants to be calm, if he wants to pretend it's nesting season, so he'll get down and sit by a toy or whatever for a while, but he's pretty busy.
Oh, let's not play with the charger. No. Oh. We've got some more chatters who have joined us. We've got Book TR Shaw and Tiki Tiki. So welcome both of you. Lovely to
Hi
have you with
guys.
us.
Here's our sick little boy. Doesn't look sick, does he? That's one of the problems with AGN. It can start out in a bunch of different ways, and you may not catch it. They may have it for a long time before you realize it, and you want to catch it early. So the test isn't expensive, so any questions, get it done. Any kind of unusual behavior. I'm watching for all the signs. Like I'm starting to wonder about Lucy because she sometimes will look at her feet when she's moving. That's a sign of it. It can cause neuropathy, so they can't feel their feet, that kind of thing. Romeo's another one that might be a problem. Of course, getting blood from Romeo. I'm more likely to get blood from myself than I am, I am from him because he has a pattern, and that pattern, if you break that pattern, it's like Dustin Hoffman in that movie. Like. I got to watch Wapner. I mean, he wants things in a certain order. I did manage to trim his beak down a little bit. I think that may also be a sign of AGN because Cause was having one side of her beak, the left side of her beak was overgrowing, which just doesn't happen out of the blue. So, and obviously that's also controlled by nerves. So If you have
Maybe
a bird
everybody
that's,
got it.
huh?
Maybe everybody's got it.
Well, 1 out of 3 have ABV. They have the avian bornovirus, um, and it just takes really a stressful situation, or if they get something else, they get sick from something else, it can cause it to. What happens is the virus moves down the nerve. Okay, it just moves down the nerve because it sits inside the neuron, and then it spreads to some other nerves, and they move back into the brain, but they don't really do anything in the brain. They just live there. It's like they're living in a hostel, right? They're just kind of hanging out. They actually just hang out in there and live. They don't actually try to cause any trouble. But when they spread, then that causes an irritation to the sheath of the nerve, and then the body attacks the nerve. So
So it's kind of like chickenpox. Everyone has it, but only a few people have shingles.
yeah, yeah. Well, the testing they've done so far, it's 1 out of 3, but it could be, it could be a bigger average than that. We haven't tested the whole pool of birds, right? So.
Hmm.
Um, And ABV does not always shed, so you can test a bird for ABV and it may come up negative, but that's just because they're not shedding it. I mean, it's not like we're going into their brain to take cells out to check to see if they're in there. We're not doing that. Um, so anyway, probably if it's probably a good idea to get them all tested at some point, but today's topic is the hidden trauma of hand-raised parrots. So, and I guess the best way to picture that is like in your mind, you want to imagine a child who has never crawled, never learned to walk, step by step, and then suddenly the parent is like, "Okay, I want you to run over there, right? Take off and run over there." Well, they're just going to stumble and fall because they never learned how to do the basic steps to run, right? So, um, and it follows them for life. It doesn't go away. When you're missing those steps in life, like the steps I missed, my parents didn't socialize me. You say, well, what does that mean? He wasn't socialized. I don't know. Oh, I didn't know until I was an adult. What a cousin was, or an uncle, or an aunt. I didn't have any idea where the amount was. So my parents never sat down and explained to me what I didn't know I left.
Is it only me who can't hear Don anymore or anybody else?
Yeah, I think his volume has gone down. Don, you've lost the
Don, your
microphone.
volume, we still can hear you, but far in the background.
Yeah, where's the right
Oh,
Testing 1, 2, 3.
No,
yeah, you still sound far away.
I don't know what's going on. I've got new headset coming. Okay, switch over.
but Don exits and comes back. That sounds like I have to play the sugar video. Yes, I like that.
Is this better?
Far better. Welcome back.
Yeah, the earbuds I have aren't working, so
Well, now you sound fine without the earbuds.
I turned the volume down a little bit. Let me put it on adjust. How's this? Is this okay?
Yeah, sounds
That's
good.
All right.
excellent.
Yeah, those earbuds are not doing the job. That's the
Oh no, we lost.
Oh.
Okay, it's time for the Shook video. The Shook wants her video to be played.
Do you think she gets royalties?
Probably. So here it is.
Hi. 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 Hi.
Welcome
Hello.
back.
Hello. Maybe we should start a betting pool. We can get people to
Hello.
play.
Hi.
Someone restarted
Testing
sugar.
1, 2, 3. Oh, I know what's going on.
You are
Yeah,
here, Dawn. We
we
can
hear
hear
you,
you.
Don. I was saying we should
Nope.
start a betting pool. We can get the chatters
Hello.
to
Oh, he
bet on.
cannot hear us. Oh
Oh,
no.
he can't hear us. Oh dear. Do we need to page the tech support Pip? Does she need to come and help?
Oh, I
Hello.
just tried
I
to
can't
wave
hear
them.
you.
That's just me. Let's see.
Now I don't have sound.
Oh no.
It's a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Well, I think our regular chatters know that
I'm going to
this
write
can
him.
happen. Rosebud says start topic over. We will do once we can all hear each other.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, we
No.
hear you, Don.
Oh, good. Okay. That was my fault. I touched something on the screen by accident, and boom, I was out of there. And it was not a good exit. That's for sure. Ah.
Right.
See,
Rewind.
I think we'll let Cecil handle this from now on because he's doing a better job than I am. Anyway, where was I? I've forgotten now.
You were talking about socialization. You weren't socialized as a child and it screwed you up. And it's the same for birds.
Yeah. It's that was interesting. Hey, stop it. You're going to get like that again, are you? Well, you're starting to get sassy. That's good. Sassy boy. So, as with the kid that doesn't know how to run when you tell him to, the same kind of thing happens to a parrot, and it's written into them. You can't just go in there and change the script. So you have to work with what you've got, which isn't really a cockatoo. It isn't really a parrot. I always get a kick out of these breeders who say, "Oh, we're preserving the species," and you want to just go to a local farm store and have a load of manure dumped on their front lawn because they are just giving it to you, And it's either A, out of ignorance, and B, just because they're only concerned about making money. It's hard to say, but hand raising is definitely the problem. And some people will even go to a breeder and say they'll try to get the bird early and hand raise it themselves. Believe me, it doesn't help. Because I personally know one bird that was raised like that. And as soon as she became an adult, she ripped all her feathers out. So, and
Lorelei.
yeah, Lorelei, that's it.
And she was raised by you, so she had the best, but it still messed her up.
Well, yeah, she didn't have that. She wasn't part of a flock. So no matter what you do, you can't. I mean, she learned to fly early. She acts more like a bird than anybody else here. But when it
She
came time
actually
to,
had some kind of mother in Chloe, but that doesn't replace the time they sit on the eggs and the early time when they get fed by their parents.
Mm.
no, no, doesn't replace it. So here they are. The egg is pulled from the nest, and they're raised in an incubator, and then because they weren't raised by their parents, something invisible is stolen from them. Right? We can't see what's taken, but you can see the effects of it. So it's not about the bad food that which is normal for most breeders. They don't give them the best food because they're turning over a unit. You know, it's like Jeff Bezos selling you a bag of lentils. He doesn't care if the lentils are any good. As long as he makes a profit and you don't call up and complain about it, he's happy.
Jeff
So,
Bezos, don't sue us.
yeah. Well, he's got shipping knowledge, but as far as caring about anything, I don't think he's a caring human being. If you were a caring human being, you wouldn't take a huge amount of money and use it to take an 11-minute trip into space when you could have, saved starving children, done something positive, right? So,
And you'd let your employees have bathroom breaks as well.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a horrible thing. I could never work there because when you get older, you're going to running to the bathroom all the time. I have to stop drinking liquids for a couple of hours before every live, which isn't good for me under my circumstances, but I have to do that.
Maybe we should give you an intravenous drip.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, parrot chicks. There's a rhythm of life, okay, in the wild with their parents and the flock, and there's warmth, there's preening, there's subtle vocal cues where they're talking to each other. They learn what's safe. They learn their boundaries, and we don't teach them any of that. Yes, I agree with you, Sonny.
Huffing and puffing.
Yeah, sorry, I'll mute her.
No,
No, it's too cute.
it's all right. It's okay. No,
She's
no
I
trying to
worries.
love
climb up
it.
on. She's trying to climb up on the table and eat the Christmas cactus.
Actually, she makes more sense than most politicians, so that's fine. Let her talk. So without that bonding with the parents, they miss these critical steps in their development, like the one I missed. I've talked about it before. They put me in one of those little walkers, so that way you can walk around, but you can't get into anything. And I don't even know if they're still available. They were circular. You put the baby in it before it learns to crawl, and it wanders around. Well, that's probably a horror story for Eleanor. I don't think you'd even consider something like that. But
Well, crawling's very important. You learn spatial awareness and
yep,
things like that you don't get if you go straight to walking.
if you go straight to walking like that, you also get dyslexia. They found the majority of people who were raised that way got dyslexia. So,
Don, is your picture frozen?
huh?
Is your picture frozen?
Well, it keeps going away and coming back. But it might just be the internet connection.
Yeah, on StreamYard it is also frozen now. So it doesn't look like it's YouTube. Because today I cannot find out if it's YouTube fault because I had already problems with other live streams. But that maybe it's also
Anyone
an
on?
overall internet fail.
If there's anyone on Facebook, they might be able to tell us if it's okay there or X.
5 people are on X.
I think my sound cut out again.
So your picture has come back on StreamYard because
Is
there
the
it was
sound
frozen as
working?
well.
Look at the cat.
Well,
But
I can
now
hear
Hello?
you fine,
Hello?
Don.
and now make some faces that the people
No,
see
we've
you're
gone
doing.
silent again.
No, you're not silent again.
We hear you. So once again, we apologise for the technical difficulties.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello.
Shall we all just pretend to be cockatoos? We'll just go, hello, hello, hi. Burr, 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 burr. Hi. Good morning. Hello.
thank you, Tiki Tiki, if you can hear me.
We can hear you all the time. Probably you can just not hear us.
We should type that. Don't we hear you?
Nope, I think we're going to have to do this all over again. This is not working.
Oi, sweetie. No, no, no. Say never. What are you doing? Don't bash your head on the sofa.
Now his pick is frozen again. It's like he cannot hear us or we cannot see him.
Yeah.
Is YouTube having a quest today? Or the internet?
I think it's the internet because, I don't know, it
Okay.
seems to be everyone.
Yeah, so seems to be a worldwide thing.
Yeah.
And we get another dawn.
Hello.
Hello.
Two dons.
I have to just exit the app and go back in it. I might try going in on Google Chrome instead of Safari. Originally, it wasn't supported on here, but I think it is now.
So everybody's happy. You're back. Yeah, lol, 2 dons. I removed 1 don.
Well, you should have kept that don. He could help.
Actually, I should have kept it, but it was not moving. So I think the birds prefer the moving don.
So we see the consequences of being raised by these breeders. What are you doing, little big boy? We see the consequences. You know, the birds that bite, the birds that can't get along with each other. Um, I'm talking about you, KK. Well, you get along with Cecil. Sometimes with the other umbrellas, but um, it's the cause of the feather destructive behavior is the fact they're raised in captivity, and you can argue with that one with the breeders. Um, although I try to stay away from those people because they make me angry. So actually, what I try to do if I talk to a breeder is to explain to them why what they're doing is wrong. And they're never going to respond to me properly at the time I do it. But if I keep my cool and just say, well, you obviously haven't studied. You need to look at this and this. Maybe they will. Sometimes they do. Like in that video, Parrot Confidential, the breeders that realized they were actually causing a problem, so they stopped and they started a rescue, sanctuary and rescue. So now I'm paranoid. I think you guys can hear me, but I'm not sure.
We can hear you.
Okay, good.
And we can see Sugar staring to us. Hi, Shuggy, you look great.
The sugar bird. So, the birds who chew themselves up, the mutilators, the ones that rip out their feathers, these aren't bad birds. These are trauma responses from the way they were raised. Their entire, it's like building a building with a bad foundation. It's going to come crashing down. Unfortunately, it usually comes crashing down in someone's home where they thought, oh, I want a pretty bird and I'll just keep it in the cage and take it out when I want to. They find out that doesn't work, but they don't understand why. They just know that, well, this bird must be bad. No, the bird isn't bad. You just don't know what's going on. So while they're obviously not mammals and they're not human, it's still similar to to childhood trauma. A child who never learns to trust will struggle in relationships, right? I mean, how can you form a relationship if you don't know how to trust? Um, this is not something that my parents beat into my head. Trust. They more or less what they beat into my head is just go ahead for today and don't think about yesterday. What they didn't realize is that I have a condition where that's the worst thing you can tell a child. But so because they're in constant stress. It affects their nervous system, um, their heart, their brain, their behavior. Everything is affected. And of course, what they're looking for, especially with someone like umbrella cockatoos, they're looking for some kind of bond. They're looking for a place in the world too, and they don't know where to go. So breeders will tell you that, oh, they're going to be more tame because they're hand raised. That's been proven false in research done in Northern California at university. That is not true. They'll be clingy. Yes, they'll cling to humans. That's a fact. They'll cling to them, but that bond is born of what they were deprived from. It's not a healthy connection at all. They love you because they've never been allowed to love anyone else. You just have to imagine. I mean, there are some people who grow up without parents, right? That happens. Automobile accidents, things like that. Um, and most of those people have issues they have to work through, but they also have humans to help them work through that. More of their species to help them work through it, where the birds don't. So when you look at a parrot, look at it in a compassionate way. What can I do to try to make its world better? You know, don't look at it and say, "Oh, that parrot bites." I get people saying, "Well, my parrot just started biting all of a sudden." Well, it's never all of a sudden. I actually wrote a story called "Out of the Blue" years ago, and it just doesn't happen out of the blue. There's something you did. It could be as simple as moving boxes into a room in the corner. That happened. The lady moved boxes in the corner, and her bird became highly aggressive. It was afraid of the boxes. And so what she saw as aggression towards her was actually trying to warn her about the danger of the evil boxes. It's like that. I brought in this lamp with Chloe once. And I bring in this lamp, and it's one of those ones with the multiple bulbs on it that you can turn around. I thought it would be good to light the room for the birds, and she just was trying to kill it. And eventually, she started climbing on it, and it became a perch. So I had to unplug it. But take the bulbs out and unplug it because to her it was a perch. After that, but I kept saying it's a lamp. Now, of course, she didn't understand, but it's a lamp. Um, right? Right, Cecil? Eh. Sometimes you run face to face with that, what's wrong with them, what's internally screwed up from being raised by these humans who think they know what they're doing, um, who just got lucky figuring out that if you steal the eggs away, you can raise them in an incubator. 'Cause that's how they raise them. The parents aren't going to raise those eggs themselves. They'll break them. They don't want any young because it's not an environment inside of a cage is not a safe environment. So they break the eggs. They didn't actually start raising them in homes until, basically that's what it was, raising them in homes to sell, until they figured that out. Up to that point, they weren't being raised in captivity, except in zoos, which had them in large aviaries, that kind of thing. Some I don't know, someone down in the Catskills all figured out maybe if I just put them in an incubator. But once they figured that out and they stopped bringing them over mostly from the wild, that's when we started seeing the feather destructive behavior and these other problems. So when you look at a parrot, just realize that it's got a lot of baggage because of the way it was raised, and don't blame it for its behavior. Yeah, KK's a good boy. He's change the camera angle here. He is a good boy, but he has problems with socialization with the other birds. He gets along with Cecil most of the time, except when Cecil keeps stepping on him. He can get along with Lucy as long as Lucy isn't too close to him, but Lucy's kind of snippy and she'll stick her beak at him or something, and he misunderstands that. He thinks he's going to, I don't know what he thinks, but somehow he misinterprets it and then he wants to fight. I mean, he misinterprets other signals too. She was vibrating, which is more of more like a love sonnet than anything else, and he wanted to attack her for it. He didn't understand it, so another fine example of what breeders can do, right? Huh? Isn't it one another fine example? Cecil's still playing with his homemade bubble gum. We actually have Snowball and Lucy looking out the window over there. Although it's more like Snowball is looking into the telephoto lens here. Looks like Snowball's more looking at her. Now they're both looking at each other. And then we have our sleeping Jasmine. Right, Cecil? So that's a good summary of the situation. That's the problem. And as Dr. Friedman said, they are functionally autistic. So this one, she just recently added something to her routine. I have to pet her as I go around saying good morning. She puts her head down. If I forget to do that, she will be upset. And we don't want to make Sugar upset, do we? So be careful what you add into their routines too. If you think, well, I can do that just one day, be careful with that. Because now, if I don't do that with her, she's going to get upset. It doesn't take long. I mean, with my schedule, it takes an extra minute to do that. No big deal. But for her, it's a big deal, isn't it? Isn't it, girl? Yeah, I should. Yeah, every time I meet a new parrot, I see a whole bunch of issues looking at me. You know, you may not recognize them, but they're there. I don't know what I would do if I hadn't taken the classes I did and then worked with the knowledge. I didn't just take the classes; I also applied them. You know, I applied the knowledge I learned. So, because there's a world of difference with these guys. If you have some idea what you're doing, in some ways, it's like walking into an atomic power plant and starting to throw switches when you have no idea what you're doing. Oh, I think it would be cute to just pet this bird for half an hour. No, it's not. Cecil, are you having fun? Yeah, his breathing's not that great. You can see how the lower part of his, down by his His abdomen is moving and he shouldn't be doing that. And they have no muscles to inhale, so. And that's where studying the physiology of these birds is important too. Because if you don't realize certain things, you do dumb stuff. Like if you don't realize that they don't have muscles, they can't do this. Okay, they can't do it. They can go like this, but they can't do this. So if you're doing their nails and you're trying to get them to give you one toe at a time, well, you have to reach down and grab your head and pull it out of there because it's obviously in a spot it doesn't belong. But that's what you need to know about their physiology. That's why when you see an avian vet handle a bird, they never handle them tightly. It's always gently because if you hold them too tight, they can't breathe. The air pressure around them is what opens their lungs, and then they use muscles to expel the air. Exactly the opposite of what you do, mammals do. So works well for flying because as they exert, they force the air out, and then it just naturally goes back in by air pressure. So it works better for flying. Wake up there, Jasmine. No,
Not
she's
time yet. She's got another 10 minutes.
plus she knows that KK is down here. So what's the point of being awake? She can't get down next to me till he's gone. Although she was in here for an hour and a half before. I mean, I'm doing it differently now. So there, I've got the other group in here. She's part of the group that's in the early group. So, um, but she didn't come down then either. And the only one down here was Lorelei. And usually she comes down to get preened. So, yeah, baby. Another thing about, and they were asking about doing gram stains on him. Dr. Young, who worked at the Zoological Society in San Diego Zoo, he worked at the Center for Reproductive Research on Endangered Species, the Crest Center, and he said that they tested gram stains and they found them almost useless because they would have an animal, they knew what the problem was, they'd test it with gram stains and it would come up not showing it, or it would show other things that weren't involved. But the main thing was it wasn't showing what they actually had, even though they knew what it was. It wasn't showing in the gram stains. So I'm not overly thrilled about those either because of the way he explained it. Once in a while he'll do them to see if there's something like E. coli in there, but even then, you can get a tainted sample. So the only reason they get E. coli is because of humans carry it. It's in every one of us. If it wasn't, you couldn't digest your food. So, you having fun down there? You're just sitting. You're just sitting, little boy.
He's got wood, he's happy.
You want some wood? Okay. Sounded like she said, "I want some."
Well, she's chewing on a silicone carrot toy right now. She's going chomp, 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 chomp.
Sounds better than some of the speeches I've heard recently. So. She's got her L's. She's got her L's down now.
Yeah, she's not bad.
And her Tarzan yell, she's got those too. She could give Johnny Weissmuller a run for his money if he was still alive. You know, those old Tarzan movies are fun to watch because you can hear the kookaburras in the background. And if you can find a kookaburra in Africa, let me know. I used to go at the Wild Animal Park, which they now call the Safari Park. I used to go in there and I'd walk around. Yeah, I know, I know.
What? What are you saying? Are you saying that? I think she wants to do her own live stream.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Sweetie.
Well, she's got to do that or she's
I
not going to
think
learn to
we
talk.
broke just the sky in X because I thought like StreamYard is broken because here's something about 100 viewers, and then I hovered over it and see like they are all on X. So hello and welcome to the viewers on X.
Yeah, hi. Yeah.
To the 100 viewers on X.
Good grief.
Well, hello, welcome viewers on X. Nice to have you. All 100 of you.
Yeah, I think since StreamYard has updated, X is suddenly again in the list. So time it was just YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, I added it this morning. I added it in there, so. What's going on up there? So, you know, these guys have been through a lot of trauma and that's before they really got into the world and had to face up with the people who paid money for them, right? Who didn't understand the problems that they've been through, didn't know what to do when they started ripping out their feathers, or didn't know what they do when they started biting or screaming, and they had no idea they were involved in it. It's like the bird has gone crazy. No, it hasn't. So, I mean, you can see they're pretty docile here, you know. And well, most of the time, they just appreciate being out. They come over and bother me, or they sit and these two are looking out the window, but they need some time to be birds or to try to be birds. They don't really even know what they need time for, really, but so they look outside or they sit and rest like this one's doing. She was up and busy a little before we started, and then I guess she went, "Oh no, looks like we have a video going. I'm going to sit here and do nothing." She was pretty active this morning when I went to her cage, and I said, "I say good morning to all the birds, but it's also an exam. I'm making sure they're okay. There's no blood on the paper down below. You know, there's nothing wrong with them. It's obvious. Their behavior is normal, that kind of thing." But she actually, threw her wings out at me a little bit this morning, and I threw my arms out, and we kind of did that back and forth for a bit. Usually she'll just stare at me like, I'm not a morning person. I'm just not a morning person. Lucy always gives me she gives me a little bit of sass in the morning. I say good morning and she'll lean over and stare at me. I'll say good morning and finally she'll shake her head. I'm talking about you. That's right, Lucy. You don't like me talking about you? Well, this one wants attention, and then she preens, and then she wants more attention. Then she eats her medicine, which is mixed into her peanut butter, and then she preens. Then she wants more attention. That's pretty much the way it is. This one hides from me because he doesn't want to take his medicine. Do you? But he'll rip his feathers out without it. Doesn't really change his behavior except in that. That's right. He acts like this. He acts like this all the time. So
He's such a cute guy. Yesterday, he started a fight with Cecil. And when Don was taking KK out of the room, KK was basically muttering all the time, KK, okay, KK, okay, okay, okay. So we were happy that the KK was okay, but it's not okay to start a fight with the Cecil.
Especially right now, with his lungs the way they are. So,
Mm.
so he got more time later that day. But yeah, you did, didn't you? Hello. You're such a good boy. Yes, you are.
Is the KK okay?
KK, okay? I don't know what it means to him, but he put his head down when I said it. So it's all right, KK. You're a good boy. KK, good boy. Yeah, good boy. That's right. So I hope that when you look at a parrot in the future, you don't look at them like, will it bite? Does it talk? But rather look at them like, this bird needs, compassion and care. Like that little girl in Florida that her mother didn't take care of for 7 years, and it took that long before neighbors figured it out and turned her in, and Child Protective took the. But Danielle, can't. She's never going to be human. She crawls around. She crawls around like a crab on the floor, and she can't focus her eyes. So she might be somewhat better now because obviously the family that took her is working with her, but she missed those stages of development, so never going to be fully human. Just like these are never fully real parrots, right? I know it's tough to be the KK bird. Well, guys, thank you for showing up, for being here, and thank you those from X who are watching, and those on Facebook, and thank all of you who support us and help us do this work. Get the knowledge out to people about what's going on with parrots, and share our flock with us too. Even if they're a little sassy sometimes. Oh, that worked real well. You hit the front camera button and nothing happens. Come on. They put the camera switch button too close to the camera off button. There we go. So we'll see you next time, guys. Thank you, Amy, and thank you, Eleanor, for your assistance in moderation.
Ooh, French.
And yes, what can I say? C'est la vie.
Oh,
I can look like a
gosh.
frog if I want to. We will see you all next time.
Science knowledge only adds to the excitement, the mystery, and the awe of a flower.
Evidence is evidence. It's public. Everybody can look at the evidence and assess it, and eventually, if there's enough evidence, come to the same conclusion.
The Chloe Sanctuary for Parrots and Cockatoos, a nonprofit charity dedicated to the empowerment of captive parrots and public awareness.